They call me OD, cause I got AD, HD, Stevia than Lacey, wavier than waves be. Been dashed like Stacy, been found to dash shit like Macy's. Crazy, they can never faze me. If you tried, then you lied, I'ma be alright.
Azelia Amanda Banks was born May 31st, 1991. She is an American rapper, singer, and songwriter from Harlem, New York, USA. Father died when Banks was 2 years old. At a young age, she became interested in musical theater, acting, and singing. She performed in off-Broadway musicals with the Tada Youth Theater and attended LaGuardia High School of Performing Arts, where she did production of City of Angels at 16. An agent became interested in her, and she
these raps. I've been writing these raps for like a couple months. Dead ass. Like this, like some art project shit for me. Like for real. Like I do a lot. I do a whole bunch of stuff. Like I go to art school and shit. Like
how do you? So you got into beats, and shit was crazy for you to be 17. Like.
I get high like Project Pat. Put a nigga in a trap like a Project Rat. You wanna fuck with all money, put a whoop in it. Nigga in the store with the whoop with tap.
Got the internet on fire.
on fire.
You put a collection out of all your music together.
Yeah. Youthful Offender / Good Morning America mixtape will be dropping at the end of May.
Dropped out of high school in order to pursue a musical career. Under the moniker Miss Banks, she released her debut, Give Me a Chance, accompanied by 17, onto the internet. In the year, Banks signed to record.
My new album, Broke With Expensive Taste, is out on iTunes. Go get it and enjoy it. Woo!
Already got this P, tap with the chit chat, already got baby. Can't deal with the bullshit, cause the rap ain't me. He took you to cruise trips for the yacht on me. He said the bus deeper than the deep blue sea. Indeed.
A chance! Desperado. I want to give a big shout out to Theophilus London. Thank you so much for being on JFK. I had so much fun working with you, and I hope to work with you again soon, okay?
You know what a bitch become when her weaving.
I have to give a big shout out to the oops, I put the candle out. Ah! DVD Ice Princess.
Hey Azelia, what time is it?
It's skin o'clock.
Label XL Records and began working with producer Richard Russell. She left the label later that year due to conflicting ideas. Following this, Banks left behind the Miss Banks moniker and formally became Azelia Banks, which preceded a move to Montreal. She says, XL saw me as this novelty rap chick. They wanted me to make an EP so they could capitalize on the coolness of it, but I wasn't ready. I needed supervision. After losing the deal, she flew home and fell into a deep depression, working at Starbucks and even at a strip club to make ends meet. But because she was prideful, she decided to release 212 on her own, recording the track in a friend's bedroom and premiering it on YouTube with a black and white in which she bounced around in a dirty Mickey Mouse sweatshirt. So Azelia Banks is pretty much known for her controversial statements, and for the purpose of this video, I'm going to talk about struggles with, to me, what appears to be internalized colorism. I want to talk about what internalized colorism actually is and how
What is internalized racism? So it's basically a phenomenon in which individuals of a marginalized racial or ethnic group adopt the oppressive and discriminatory beliefs of the society they live in. So basically you're internalizing this negative stereotypes they have about you. And there's actually a thing called the internalized racism scale. And your score is based on questions like, do you prefer your hair straightened or do you prefer your natural hair? What color or skin tone do you prefer in your partner? So all.
Hey guys. Hey, this is my first live Facebook thingamabobber. I don't even know if anyone's watching. I think people are watching because I see blue bubbles appearing, but you know, I just had to find a new platform to bring all this shit to you. I'm out here riding my bike today by the river. And yeah, I just wanted to just come back on camera and talk to you guys about something, because I see that you guys really want to talk to me about, this whole skin lightening thing and skin bleaching thing and why I did it, what does it mean, blah, blah, blah. I don't really think it's important to discuss like the cultural significance of skin bleaching anymore, because I think that just as African American people, or just as Black people in this world, you assimilate, and there are things that, there are just things that you accept. Not out of necessity, but just things that kind of become norm because because it's just happening all the time. That I think that also goes for just Black people or any minority, and speaking clear, proper English. I often make fun of people. I'll be like, oh, you can't read, you can't this, blah blah. But although I'm making a joke, all jokes come from just a serious place. And I think that a big part of being a Black person in America is just and it's accepted. I guess people look at the skin lightening thing or the skin bleaching thing as something different, but I see it as another, assimilatory, is that a word? Like another assimilation thing. It's just a continuation of the falsification of self that comes with being a Black person in America. Now that falsification, like I said, it can extend to just speaking clear English, or being really, or doing really well in liberal academia, or whatever the fuck, having a PhD, whatever us Black people make fun of each other for. It's all a part of that like respectable Negro stuff, that we take on, whether we are trying to, or whether we're purposefully trying to, or whether it just happens out of, I guess, osmosis, just being around it all the time, or whatever the fuck. Now with the skin lightening thing, I think that my personal opinion about skin lightening, right? I consider anything that has to do with like removing layers of skin or pigment, I consider it bleaching. Well, I don't say bleaching, I say lightening. So some people will be like, oh, I just got a chemical peel that's not lightening my skin, but it did lighten your skin. It took off all the chocolate chips and all the shit. Might have had some like blackheads caked down in there. Sometimes it just gets like really kicked up, especially traveling, eating bad food, drinking soda and shit like that. Hormones, periods, stuff like that, just really kicked in, like really stuck. And sometimes you have to do like 5 peels to get that shit up out of there, and then by the time it's up out of there, your face is lighter than the rest of your body. So then what do? Either you just wait for it to go back, or maybe you put some makeup on the rest of your body to make it match color, or maybe you lighten the rest of the color, like take off permatan and stuff. So I don't know, like any even like different gel, like retin-A and stuff like that, that can take off layers of your skin, and it can make it look lighter. What's colloquially called skin bleaching and stuff, like with hydroquinone and shit like that. And that's not anything that anyone needs to be using. Some dermatologists will still give you hydroquinone, or I think it's like methanol or some shit. Like there's a lot of stuff out there that you shouldn't be touching that will be prescribed for you at the dermatologist. But there's a whole other market of skin lightening products. And yeah, I wanted to also talk about just like my experience with this world of skin bleaching, because skin bleaching, skin lightening, whatever you want to call it, that is a very deep, dark world, just kind of, I started off just like, oh, I got like some little shit on my knees, shit on my elbows, I want to take it off. And as I was just doing my research, going on these blogs and going on all these things, you just see how there's kind of like a scale of like skin lightening products. There will be like the really, really, really high end, expensive, like nice shit, stuff that I'm lucky enough to be able to afford. And then you'll see like all the way down to the bottom of the barrel, just like the worst ingredients, like mercury, hydroquinone, and stuff like that. And you just like see that this like dream being sold, right, to women everywhere. Rich women, like rich Arab women buy like $20,000, $50,000 worth of these bleaching creams, or like the rich oil Nigerian wives, or like just like rich Japanese women and stuff like that. You'll have like these really, really high end products, and then you'll have maybe for the girl who lives in the shanty town, or like the girl who lives in a third world country or something. You'll just have all of these really, really, really corrosive ingredients. And I'm writing an even longer article because the skin bleaching and the whiteness is a mental illness article that I was writing are kind of like coming together. So I'm just gonna make them come together and then give them to you guys more concisely. But yeah, and so I think that's where a lot of the stigma around skin lightening and skin bleaching comes from. Just the experiences, or just like what you've seen, the damage you've seen people do to themselves with these like really, really, really bad products. Again, I consider skin lightening to be anything that's removing a layer, because it lightens your skin. So even if you're, I don't know, using some acne medication with some other shit in it that says to brighten your skin. And this is another thing, like all of these companies that we buy regular products from, like Johnson & Johnson or whatever the fuck, are selling these products. They are just advertised differently. So when you see a serum and it says brightening or illuminating, that's bleach. Where it says lightening, brightening, illuminating, clarifying, all these words are just different words for the same thing, So I feel that, I feel like there might be like a real big double standard and it's kind of like an unnecessary double standard, because I'm all for just kind of, having things made for me, by me. And, so what if a black person's selling skin bleaching cream? I'd rather buy it from a black person than from, whoever else I'm buying it from. You guys all buy products from these companies every single day, Shiseido, Lancome, all of these companies sell bleach in one way, shape, form, or another. And I think that, it can be kind of hypocritical for people to just kind of jump out and be like, oh, well, you like blah, 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 shame on you for skin bleaching and shame on you for doing this. But, this is a very, 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 very common thing. And it's all about doing it right and getting the right things so you don't look like chalk. And I think it's just like a deeper conversation into just like a woman's right to choose, like just a woman's choice. Like,
what your thoughts are about Azelia Banks. So Azelia Banks made a video pretty much defending skin bleaching. She came out to defend her decision to bleach her skin, and she says it doesn't change anything she said in the past about being Black in America. Banks admitted to bleaching her skin in June after fans commented on her significantly lighter skin tone in an Instagram picture, which was since deleted. Instagram posts revealed that she had been using the controversial product White Niches to alter her deep brown skin. Y'all might remember White Niches via certain celebrities and how it got a lot of backlash. Azelia Banks asks, what's the difference between getting a nose job and changing your skin color? She made it ignorant and it's just stupid. So I think in this particular instance that Azelia is saying two things. One, that changing yourself in general isn't like whether you're wearing a weave or you're getting surgery or you're bleaching your skin, it's all about physical appearance, and a lot of times it's about the male gaze or to appear what is deemed as beautiful. But Azelia to me also is saying in this instance that Her doing this isn't necessarily because she hates being Black, but because perhaps she wants to be perceived as beautiful. And I don't know if that, and I think that when we talk about these things, it's important to look at how desirability and featureism are often interconnected into what is deemed as feminine. So Black women have negatively been seen as strong, competitive, aggressive, and loud, all qualities that society says that women should not have. Because our society has been and continues to be run by white men, their views have been systemically placed in our society. They believe that women should be the complete opposite of them in nature, meaning quiet, docile people who they can control. It's our lack of proximity to whiteness that makes us non-feminine. As subsets of gender and gender expression, femininity and masculinity are both social constructs. How society views and defines these concepts differs across. So again, we have seen times where Azelia has kind of like lashed out at women for whatever reasons, and she has called them ugly. There was this one dark skin said she suggested should get bleaching cream, which I think was totally inappropriate. Internalized colorism perpetuates. Azelia not only feels that, hey, dark skin is bad, but also I'm going to insult you and say that you need this cream as much as I do, or you need this cream in general. I do get that dark-skinned women are often not deemed as feminine by the beauty standard. Black women in general, but especially dark-skinned women. So I do imagine that at times, aside from outlandish, she can just be deemed as the angry Black woman because she just has a voice and she's outspoken. And that's a lot of the public perception around Azelia Banks. Not really her music, but how she interacts on social media and with fans and other celebrities.
I get it. That was nice.
Do you still
Thanks,
do that?
Donald. Huh?
You still do that with the chickens? I don't know if you put something on me just now. What was that? What was that look you gave me just now? You still? You can't. You're not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, sure, I can talk about it.
So, do you still do it? Jesus Christ! Now, don't look at me like that. I don't know if you're putting something on me. Now, can we? All right, you got skincare products too, right?
Yes, I do.
What is the skincare product? But you know, she'll hit me and be like, I can tell you bleaching.
Oh, original bleaching, girl. If you're rubbing out a cream. Envy's looking at you like.
You think he's bleaching?
Charlamagne's bleaching.
I've never bleached.
Original bleaching, girl.
Both of us have been accused of skin bleaching, though.
We're bleaching
No,
siblings.
no,
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
That's how Charlamagne and I bonded. We were sharing skin bleach recipes.
He was hitting me with all kind of stuff, telling me all kind of chemicals. I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Come on, Charlamagne's got Nadinola, Immediate Claire, Volume 40. Charlamagne's mixing. Charlamagne got a tub under the bed.
But you make your own soap, right?
I do.
Really?
Yeah. That was another thing that came in kind of like my blacklisting time, you know. There was a time where people really weren't booking me for shows and I had to figure something out. So, and more so, I was just like bored. Like really bored, and I had to just find something to pass
Why were you
the time.
blacklisted? Why'd you say why weren't they booking you for shows?
Because of, I don't fucking know.
Aside from that, I would say Azelia Banks stating that she only dates white men has been attributed to her being anti-Black or internalizing colorism or internalizing racism. Her defense was that Black men often consider her mouthy, and she has also mentioned this, like what someone mentioned about her overall persona, that said, Azelia Banks is a prodigy and tortured artist. It's exciting that one of these actually exists today. She may come out as aggressive, emotional, and angry, and once they tag you with that angry or bitter tag, it discredits what you are trying to say. But I think what she's trying to say in relation to the frustrations of Black women who feel undervalued is very important. So now I'm going to discuss some of the beef she's had, which some of them relate to colorism, racism, and
not only is she trouble, but she fights with everyone. Azalea's had fights with Cardi B, Remy Ma, Rihanna, Erykah Badu, Nick Cannon, Action Bronson, Lily Allen, Beyonce, Russell Crowe, RZA and SZA, Zayn Malik, Shia Jackson, Sarah Palin, Kendrick Lamar, Lupe Fiasco, Eminem, T.I. and Tiny, A$AP Rocky, Elon Musk, Rita Ora, Lady Gaga, Pharrell, Dolce and Gabbana, Iggy Azalea, Little Kim, RuPaul. Who fights with RuPaul? Nicki Minaj, Jim Jones, Funk Master Flex, Perez Hilton, the nightclub security guard over at the club, and the entire cast of Wilding Out. And that's
beautifully described the constant commodification of Blackness in mainstream culture. It's like a cultural smudging. And this was regards to Iggy and so many other things. She told Hot 97's Ebro in Hot 97's Ebro her career on the image and sound of American Black culture. So in 2018.
Okay, so here's the thing with Iggy Azalea. This is the thing. I feel just in this country, whenever it comes to our things like black issues or black politics or black music or whatever, there's always this like undercurrent of kind of like a fuck you. There's always like a, it's like y'all don't really own shit, like y'all don't have shit. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. That Macklemore album wasn't better than the Drake record. You know what I mean? That Iggy Azalea shit is not better than any black girl that's rapping today. You know? Grammys are supposed to be like accolades for artistic excellence. You get what I mean? Iggy Azalea is not excellent. You know, I have a problem when you're trying to like say that it's hip hop and you're trying to like put it like up against black culture, like even like, you know, like Nicki Minaj or like Re-Up and Roman Reloaded, like he got Iggy like reclassified. Like you're trying to smudge out, you know what I mean? It's like you're trying to like, it's like a cultural smudging. And when they give these Grammys out, all it says to white kids is like, oh yeah, you're great, you're amazing, you can do whatever you put your mind to. And it says to black kids, you don't have it. You don't own it, not even what you created for yourself. And it makes me upset. Gotta be the bitter black bitch because I like have something to say about it.
Because you have feelings.
Azelia Banks had a few when she called Cardi B a poor man's Nicki Minaj and accused the rapper of using a ghostwriter for her Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit, Bodak Yellow. Cardi responded by posting a...
No, that is dumb funny. All right. That's what I'm keying for tonight, because honestly, like, I wish it was, like, more to key about.
Right. We giving Pfizer, girl. I thought I was giving, like,
stop. No, because up, then it's stuck, then it's up, then it's stuck. That's one hot.
Yeah, that was down and...
That was down and... That was down.
Yeah. Cardi B went on live yesterday on Twitter and said that she would love to work with Azealia Banks. She would like to direct a photo shoot for her. But she did say that she is a little afraid of her because sometimes she likes Cardi B and sometimes she doesn't. That she can turn left real quick, but she would love that. What do you guys think about this? I low-key would like a music moment from them. A little collab or whatever. Let me know what you guys think down below.
At this point, we know Azealia Banks is not afraid to feud with literally anyone on the internet, and because of the lyric changes, it seems like someone is trying to steal her man, aka Jay-Z, and Azealia Banks is saying, who wants to be involved with Jay-Z in 2024? She needs to change the subject. Nobody, and I mean nobody, finds him attractive. This was part of a longer Instagram rant where she just went off on the album and her Jolene, saying the album themes themselves are redundant, the lyrics are forced, the album is too long. I have listened. I think it is a great album. I really do like the new rendition of Jolene, but Azealia Banks loves to just get her hands dirty, and throughout this entire album release, she has been offering her unsolicited opinions on how she does not like that Beyonce is doing this to begin with. So of course, as soon as the album drops, she is going to try and clock Beyonce, saying, of course, I didn't like it that much, and adding this comment once she heard the updated lyrics to Jolene. What are your thoughts on all this? I mean, we all know Azalea's gonna fight no matter what. Like, she's just screaming to avoid at this point, but I think this part, like, just this quote was funny.
Beyonce, girl, can I do a brown skin girl remix without you ripping it down off the internet? Girl, don't get my SoundCloud shut down, sis. Cause I know you. You'll rip my shit down and fuck my whole
SoundCloud up, sis. But you need to let me get that remix, cause I will fuck it up. Brown skin girl, skin just like a pearl. You need to let me get that, girl. Come on. Let me come through, Bianca.
I'm gonna need Azelia Banks to either tell us she is officially retired from making music or stop trying to steal my day job and get into the studio and make Fantasy 2. If you don't know, Azelia Banks decided to offer her cultural and music commentary on Beyonce naming her new album Cowboy Carter. And here's the thing, and I've said this multiple times about Azelia Banks, broken clock is right twice a day. I think the critiques that she's levying can be applied and can be fair. But my question for Ms. Banks is, since you know all this, since you're aware of this, since you are able to make these sort of critiques, and you still call yourself a music artist, why do you not just take the critiques that you are levying and apply them to your own career? Because again, like I said, a broken clock is right twice a day. And Azelia, because she is so smart and is so culturally aware and astute, could make an entire career off of let me show y'all how this should be done. And let me add even more cultural significance. Let me subvert the narrative in the way that your faves aren't doing it. And she could literally make an entire career of showing us how these things she's critiquing should be done. But she won't. She'd rather stay in her house, in her apartment, levy these critiques in days-long Instagram stories, and rather continue her Pride Festival residency across the globe as she continues to be homophobic and transphobic in between levying cultural and musical critiques. And I've always said that Azelia Banks has been her biggest enemy, despite how colorist and sexist the music industry has been towards her as well. Here's just another case of Azelia coming off as bitter, even though she's more than well equipped to do the things that the people she claims are her faves are not doing.
Are the first to discard their own, especially when white media society hangs one of us out for public crucifixion. From the minute I appeared on the scene, I was told by black men in black media that I was ugly, skinny, had bad hair, was weird, and made music for white people, etc. And so now I'm going to go into how it's pretty much like a parody roasting skit show, and where they're like different teams and people go back and forth. And so DC Young,
he couldn't get Cardi B, so he got Azelia ugly ass.
Wait a minute. That's not fair. Cardi B.
when it comes to roasting, you kind of have to be desensitized and throw all political discourse out the window and make the person either shut up, cry, or never check you again. And so Wildin' Out is similar, where it has like different black people from different areas. DC happens to be from Atlanta. And so in this culture, you dig up the most insecure thing or biggest flaw you can see about a person and you bring it forward to them. Sometimes it isn't true. Sometimes it's how people perceive you. And so in this instance, DC Young Fly happened to feel like that Azelia Banks was ugly. Azelia Banks, as a lot of people in roasting culture are, instead of just roasting back, they cry or they just shut everything out. And people were shocked again because Azelia seems to be someone who's always dishing out, insults, etc. But in this moment, she was portrayed as a victim. And this was a viral moment on Wildin' Out, and people felt some sympathy for her. But it kind of seemed like people were correlating it with colorism and the fact that DC Young Fly happened to be a black, dark-skinned man like Azelia Banks and happened to be with racial. People kind of felt like he was saying she was ugly because she was a dark-skinned woman. What are your thoughts on that? And so, Azelia Banks would acknowledge that oftentimes black didn't find her attractive, or she didn't want to carry like the burdens of racism inside of like relationships. And so I'm just going to read it. So in a selfie post on her Instagram, Banks was asked why she quote unquote dates old white dudes with money, and replied, "Because black men take black women for granted, and I'm too busy with music to be fighting for my rights at home. I have to fight for respect with the black men in hip hop. So when I get home, I'm like, nice and easy." Makes sense? Yeah, it's by dating a white man. That's her reasoning, whatever. But aside from that, there are a lot of white people who don't like Azelia Banks and do consider her ugly. And one white man happened to call her ugly on social media, and she responded, "There are two types of white men. There are the..."
And now, a reading from Queen Azelia Banks. There are two types of American white men: the fat, inflamed, blistering red pork juice dripping kind of white men who think they're as charismatic as their more attractive counterparts, yet always smell like Axe and garlic, have gout, frequent their local 7-Eleven. Then there are the unassumingly charming white men with human skin color, visible necks, healthy cholesterol levels, and full heads of hair. When I close my eyes and kiss them, they smell like sugar cookies, and their lips taste like marshmallows. You look like your lips taste like envelope adhesive and bacon bits. You would probably burp Slim Jim and oppression in my mouth. Rest assured that you never have to worry about an unattractive me hassling you for any FaceTime. Be gone, Elmer Fudd. And those were the verbal stylings of Azelia Banks.
Time she would chill, at least when it comes to issues of death, but she did not. So, ironically, Dee's baby mama, longtime girlfriend, happens, and Azelia Banks took this moment to try to make him feel like crap, like maybe she had felt in Wildin' Out. And a lot of people thought it was inappropriate, but I'm just going to read what she says. She says, "Damn, DC Young Fly spent years disguising his own deeply rooted hatred of self as jokes pointed at women's beauty." She wrote, "Projecting his own feelings about his own ugliness onto women perfectly secure in their own skin. Because in the end, I won," she added. "I'm happy I cried and moved on. That Jackie O girl must have been so deeply insecure about herself, and the nerve of DC to call such a gorgeous woman as Azelia Banks ugly on national television." In a follow-up post, Banks said O's death was ironic.
Azelia Banks, why do you say the things you say? Now, Azelia Banks is trending because somebody had posted this comment underneath one of her videos that says, "You cried on Wildin' Out." Azelia replied back and said, "And that bee laughing at me also died on Wildin' Out on my birthday in my city. Who's next?" Now, the story goes all the way back to June when Miss Jackie O had passed away during complications from surgery. And when Miss Jackie O had passed away, Azelia Banks had posted this in her story. Now, at the very beginning, you can pause to read it, but she's talking about how DC Young Fly had made disparaging comments and all these other things. But just below, she said, "And I'm happy I cried and I moved on. That Jackie O girl must have been so deeply insecure about herself, and the nerve of DC to call such a gorgeous woman as Azelia Banks ugly on national television while a bunch of black people laughed." She then followed up and said this, "And ironically, dead at 32, exactly on my 32nd birthday, May 31st, in Miami. You ninjas are gonna learn to stop with me." I need y'all to remember, this woman throws root. And so people are like, did she have something to do with this? What's going on? Because you know how root throwers are. If you don't know throwing root, this post ain't for you. But you know what I'm talking about if y'all know people who throw root. But yeah, Azelia girl, come on now. You can't leave comments like this. Regardless if you throw root or not, or you didn't like that woman or not, you don't like DC Young Fly, you cannot say things like this because they're disparaging and it's like you don't have any respect for the dead. But tell me what y'all think about Azelia Banks and a mess.
I do think that it's a time and a place to do things and say things, but some people, they don't have those same values, so it is what it is. So now I'm going to read some public opinion and play some public opinion videos about Azelia Banks, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So someone says, "I personally don't think Azelia Banks is ugly, just her personality is, and it just makes you want to throw the whole human away. This is true. As much as I like her, she needs help. I get that people may consider her ugly for her personality, but she was insulted on their rap battle thing for being ugly, but the guy called Cardi B fine. No offense, but I feel like if average, below average light-skinned celebrities like Cardi B were dark-skinned, they would be called ugly. Cardi isn't that cute in the face. They're just hyped because she's light-skinned and Latina." Okay, so in conclusion,
when she's wrong, it is thrown up in her face. But when she's right, it flies underneath the radar. This is a list of all the times Azelia Banks was actually right. Yes, this Azelia Banks. Remember when she said that Russell Crowe spat on her and nobody believed her? Well, it actually came out that RZA admitted that Russell Crowe spat on her. And this is posted by Billboard. Remember when she went on that rant talking about Lizzo being fake with her body positivity? And fast forward and look what is making the headlines. Lizzo being sued for that exact thing. Oh, but we're not done. We all remember the infamous beef with Iggy Azalea, right? This happened today, where she is writing letters in defense of Tory Lanez, and we all know what he did. And of course, we had the whole debacle with T.I., but T.I. is weird, and I don't think anybody ever defended him. But it's starting to look like Miss Girl is psychic or something. Like, we need to stop being so judgmental when she says something, because the track record seems to be kind of clean. Like, she's the definition of let her cook. Like, yeah, okay, it may sound outlandish, but she's been right so far.
Trigger warning, but men and women, especially women, if you was told all your life that you was fat, black, ugly, sometimes that can make a person bitter, like Sheikah and Azelia Banks. Now, with Azelia Banks, no one is really going out and saying, hey, have you listened to Azelia Banks' new music project or any bookings? And again, nobody probably finds Azealia Banks attractive and always probably will go for her looks because she's always saying the most hurtful things. And I feel like this was the last straw on the camel's back, because it was like, okay, I get it at that time, DC saying calling you ugly on the show, but it's wilding out. It's not like he was just only targeting you. And then too, you could have easily said, hey, we can joke, but can we lay off my looks? For the sake of time, I'm going to have to do a part 2 for Sheikah for speaking ill about T.I. and Tiny's grandchildren, and I definitely didn't forget about B. Simone. But people like Sheikah and Azealia, you ever notice every time they get backlash for the antics that they spill out in the world, they'll use it's fat phobia, it's because I'm dark skinned, it's colorism, I'm a black woman. No, you're an asshole that needs your ass whooped.
Again, if this was true, there would be a laundry list of celebrities y'all would be calling ugly. Y'all would be calling Kanye West ugly. Y'all would be calling 50 Cent ugly. Y'all would be calling T.I. ugly. So I really need y'all to stop it. Like nobody's falling for this bullshit. It's a woman issue. And it's a black woman issue. This energy is not extended to men. When men get online and say egregious shit about black women, y'all don't attack their look. When biracial, mixed race, or even people my complexion get online and say wild shit, y'all don't call them ugly. Y'all specifically hold this energy for dark-skinned people, and especially for dark-skinned black women. When you see her, you do not, it does not, like let's be fucking for real right now, right? Because I'm sick of people pretending to be stupid. Her ugly personality don't change how she physically look. So no, when you see her, you don't see ugly, because she don't look that far off from you. So when you see yourself, do you see ugly? Now there is an energetic attraction you can have to a person who is who's a nice person, who has a beautiful energy, a beautiful aura, who is just a nice and kind person and loving person. As somebody who isn't heavy on the physical attraction, like my definition of ugly is not what other people's definition of ugly. And I don't care how attractive physically someone is. If I don't like their personality, it ain't a goddamn thing they can do for me. I understand that. But what y'all are saying and the energy around what y'all are saying, like this comment, is not the same thing. Y'all are calling this girl ugly because she's dark skinned, because she's a woman, and because she don't display certain character traits that's in line with what people are comfortable with black women behaving as. Y'all aren't comfortable with black women who are nasty, even though most black women are nasty. I see y'all get online popping shit every day, included but not limited to me. The difference is I'm gonna admit that I'm nasty. I'm gonna admit that I'm not a nice person all the time, and I'm gonna admit that I might say some fucking wild shit, and I'm not gonna apologize for it. But y'all need to stop playing and stop trying to play games with words and play semantics and have these straw man arguments. Somebody's ugly ass personality does not change how they physically look. So stop it. In that case, why is men like Trey Songz able to get away? I mean, y'all won't even stop listening to R. Kelly after the shit he do to little girls. Separate Azalea's music from the personality too. Yeah, but y'all won't do that.
So anyway, so last week I had y'all pressed, and all simply because I was expressing that you don't have to belittle and degrade Azealia Banks' physical appearance in order to express that you dislike what she said, that it was distasteful, and that you think she's a bad person. Especially since in society, a woman's value is heavily placed on how she looks. And so when a person doesn't, quotation, find you attractive, or when people in general don't find you attractive, they feel like it's okay to disrespect you, harm you, hurt you, kill you, right? Unalive you, I should say that, without repercussion. Now, how many women, and I can bring up several examples, how many women have done things like murder and you have not jumped up, grouped up in droves to talk about how ugly they are because they're ugly on the inside? Yet you felt very comfortable doing that to Azealia Banks.
It makes no sense. It's getting on my nerves. Every single week you wonder why your ass don't dance. You wonder why.
Happy Juneteenth, everyone. And to celebrate, I will be reading the iconic read of Azealia Banks to Candace Owens after Candace called Juneteenth lame. Shall we begin? You can see more of what Candace said above. And let's begin. According to this logic, on July 4th, 1776, you will still be enslaved, most likely on the verge of starvation due to all of America's food supply having been prioritized for the war. While you hand sew American flags and struggle to wet nurse some depressed 24-year-old white whale's sickly child until your nipples are chapped and dry. Whereafter, you'll be whipped by her 80-year-old uncle for your own malnourishment and inability to produce milk. Then sent to toil over a wood-burning stove, blistering your hands, while forced to make a peasantly meal of biscuits and gravy. You will then be watched closely by an irate, sunburned, and whiskey-soaked 80-year-old uncle to be sure that you do not seek a sip of biscuit or finger food of rude to yourself. After you've watched everyone else eat, you'll be put to doing the cleaning up. Your last task will be brushing the stressed and balding white widow's hair to prepare for her sleeping bonnet, a deep rest in her comfortable canopy bed. Next, your final descent down the stairs and out the back door, where you proudly sleep on a bed-bug-infested pile of hay in a 6x4 cabin you share with 4 other slaves. Happy Independence Day at Candace Owens. Oh, y'all thought it was finished. But wait, there's more. The widow will awake from her sleep to relieve herself at 4 a.m., to find a brush full of hair and let out a loud scream. She insists that it's your bad nag her luck, making her bald, and orders you to be from a tree immediately. With the help of one other strong black male slave, you're with the strap of a horse saddle off an oak tree 1 acre away from the main house, as a warning to any other slaves who are brave enough to around. Tread lightly. This lady is so unserious.
Don't get me wrong, I'm very entertained by Cardi B, and I really like Bodak Yellow. That's a really good song. But you are not that girl. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take anything from you, but you're just like, you know, this like female rap thing. It's like a lineage. It's a real fire that burns in a soul. You don't have that fire. I'm very happy for your success, and I love your come up. And I love like seeing you smile and having a good time. But this like woman's expression, this black woman's expression, and you know, whatever, we're not gonna have a conversation about who's black, what's this, Afro-Latina, blah, blah, whatever, like just the fire of this black woman's expression, you don't have it, Cardi. And you won't get it. Because it's not you.
And the interesting thing about that is that that's what a lot of people were saying before she went number 1. Everybody was like, BET Award.
Conclusion. Color Banks is a beautiful young lady, and I think if she possessed her own platform like a radio show or podcast, strictly for like unpopular opinions or social problems, debates, whatever, she'd thrive. What are your thoughts about this subject? Let me know down below, and thank you so much for listening to Books and Looks TV. I'll see you next time.